15th August 1947, the British leave India after 300 years. The Indian subcontinent is divided. Out of the trauma and bloodshed of partition, two nations emerge, India and Pakistan. But the story of partition did not end there. It was just the beginning of decades of conflict, bloodshed, and an unrelenting struggle for peace. It also came to define the life story of both nations, India and Pakistan. Just months after independence, Pakistan launched a covert invasion into Jammu and Kashmir, sending tribal militias backed by the Pakistan army to seize the region. The defining moment came when Maharaja Hari Singh of Kashmir signed the Instrument of Accession to India. That one moment led to Indian troops being airlifted from Srinagar in a daring operation that saved the Kashmir Valley from falling into Pakistani hands. Indian armed forces pushed the Pakistani raiders back, and the war ended with a United Nations mediated ceasefire, and Kashmir was divided between India and Pakistan. But that's an open wound that has festered ever since. The first major war came in 1965. Pakistan launched Operation Gibraltar, sending soldiers disguised as locals into Kashmir to foment rebellion. But India fought back fiercely. The most defining moment of the War of 1965 came in the Battle of Asal Uttar near Khemkaran, where Indian troops who were heavily outnumbered destroyed Pakistan's armored spearhead, turning the tide of the war. India captured key territories in Punjab, which is the heart of Pakistan. The 1965 war ended in the Tashkent Agreement brokered by the USSR, which brought an uneasy peace. Then, the most dramatic war happened 6 years later in 1971. In East Pakistan, which later became modern-day Bangladesh, mass atrocities by the Pakistani army led to a refugee crisis which spilled over into India. When Pakistan launched preemptive airstrikes on Indian air bases, India then formally entered the war. Then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi authorized Operation Cactus Lily, which ordered the Indian army, in tandem with the Mukti Bahini guerrilla army of Bangladesh, to liberate the then East Pakistan. 2 weeks later, on the 16th of December 1971, in Dhaka, Pakistan's General A.A.K. Niazi surrendered to the Indian Army's Lieutenant General Jagjit Singh Arora, along with 93,000 troops. That is the largest military surrender since World War II. India's military campaign was swift and decisive. Bangladesh was born. For India, it was a strategic and moral victory, reshaping South Asia forever. The next war came in 1999. In an audacious move, Pakistani soldiers and army-backed terrorists occupied Indian positions in Kargil along the line of control. India launched Operation Vijay to reclaim its territory. For 3 months, from May to July, Indian troops battled as they pushed back against the Pakistani army and pushed their regulars as well as the terrorists out of key strategic heights which they had captured. Finally, in July of 1999, Indian troops captured Tiger Hill, a fierce high-altitude battle where Indian soldiers fought against unimaginable odds to take back a crucial post. With determined ground assaults and airstrikes, India reclaimed all the occupied heights in Kargil. The War of 1999 reaffirmed India's military resolve and exposed Pakistan's betrayal on the world stage. From the late 1980s, Pakistan has shifted its military tactics from conventional wars to proxy wars. It has armed, trained, and infiltrated terrorists into India, and that became the strategy of bleeding India by 1,000 cuts. Over the last 40 years, India has faced countless terror attacks, bombings, shootings, massacres, all supported from across the border. In November of 2008, 10 Pakistani terrorists from the Lashkar-e-Taiba unleashed carnage across Mumbai. It killed 166 innocent people. The world watched in horror. One of the terrorists, Ajmal Kasab, was captured, tried, and then sentenced to death by Indian courts. Despite the public outrage, India under the then UPA government chose strategic restraint. Concerns of international pressure, fear of nuclear escalation, and a deep-rooted doctrine of restraint tied India's hands. But the scars of 26/11 remained in every Indian's mind. In 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended an unprecedented olive branch. He invited all the SAARC leaders, including then Prime Minister of Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif, to his swearing-in ceremony. The hope of peace between Delhi and Islamabad once again flickered. In December 2015, Prime Minister Modi made a surprise visit to Lahore, breaking protocol to meet with Nawaz Sharif. But merely days later, terrorists attacked the Pathankot airbase. It was a brutal reminder that dialogue with Pakistan was just a mirage. After Pakistani-backed terrorists attacked an army base in Uri, India struck back. In a bold move, Indian special forces crossed the line of control and destroyed terror launch pads inside Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. For the first time, India publicly claimed and demonstrated that these provocations will not go unanswered, and if need be, India wouldn't mind crossing the line of control. In February of 2019, a Pakistan-backed suicide bomber killed 40 CRPF personnel in Pulwama in Kashmir. It was one of the deadliest attacks on Indian forces. In response, in a historic first, Indian Air Force Mirage jets crossed the line of control and bombed terror camps inside Balakot, which was deep inside Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. It marked a paradigm shift, signaling that India will no longer be shackled by the old rules of engagement. It gave rise to the moniker Ghar mein ghus ke mara. But the terror mayhem from Pakistan has not stopped. On the 22nd of April 2025, in Pahalgam in South Kashmir, 26 innocent civilians were targeted and killed. Yet another act of bloodshed fueled by Pakistan's policy of exporting terror. India now stands at a crucial juncture. It has to respond and respond with force. History shows that Pakistani provocations which go unanswered only embolden them. The blood of innocents cry out for justice. It is time for India to respond with clarity, conviction, and the strength of its collective will. The world watches with bated breath.